Welcome to the channel. I am Vivian Atut, and we are on to an exciting series. And in this series, we are looking at ChatGPT. ChatGPT. You might have heard about it, you might not have heard about it, but in this series, I am going to be breaking to you what is this new ChatGPT and how can ChatGPT be of use for you in various ways, whether it is in your business and in marketing and in administration, in different areas. ChatGPT is changing the way we do business like never before. So in today's episode, we are going to be looking at five benefits of ChatGPT to your business. If you have a pen and paper, take out your notebook, take out a pen and begin to note this as we go through this discussion. If you have any other burning issues about ChatGPT that you want us to maybe bring specific experts to the channel and discuss about these, or explore more about it, write it in the conversation. Continue to share these podcasts with your community. So one of the things we want to start with is you might not have even heard about the term ChatGPT. But this is a revolutionary technology that has been developed, and it is taking the world by storm on all fronts. So in this episode, I share with you what is ChatGPT and what are the benefits. So let's get into it. If you are new to this podcast, please like, share, and continue to be part of our community and engage with us. So ChatGPT describes itself as a large language model developed by OpenAI, and it uses deep learning techniques to generate human-like text. So it uses deep learning techniques to generate human-like text. It is trained on a diverse set of internet text, and it is able to generate responses to a wide range of prompts. It can be used for a variety of tasks. For example, you can use it as a chatbot in conversations. You can use it for language translations. You can use it for text summarization. And there are many, many more uses of ChatGPT, and in this series we are going to be exploring ChatGPT from various perspectives. But in this episode, let's look at, personally, I have tried ChatGPT in various ways, and I would be sharing my experiences. In this episode, let's just focus on some of the top 5 benefits of using ChatGPT. Let's look at it. So one of the things that you would begin to benefit from using ChatGPT is that it understands human natural languages. So ChatGPT can communicate in English, in French, in Mandarin, and in many other languages. So OpenAI have ensured that this ChatGPT is trained on a language ability. It has language capabilities like humans. So what does it mean? It means it can understand, it can respond to natural language input just like a human being. This is game changing in all sectors of society. Whatever sector you are in and you want to begin to use ChatGPT for language communication purpose, it offers you that capability. The other important thing, according to OpenAI, is the flexibility. ChatGPT or GPT offers you great flexibility. So the possibilities and things you can do with this, it's just wide and it is growing. You can use it for natural language processing tasks. You can use it for language translation. You can use it for text summarization. You can use it for questions and answers and even more. Another benefit of ChatGPT is about high speed. It generates responses in real time and it makes it well suited for use in chatbots on your website and other forms of communication. It makes it for conversation and all AI applications that you can begin to imagine. Another important benefit of ChatGPT is scalability. So because it is based on a transformer architecture, it can actually be fine-tuned on smaller data sets for specific tasks, allowing it to be easily adapted to new domains and languages. So you can actually train these to do different things, some of which have not even been explored yet. Another important benefit is about the cost. It's an open source model, so it can be used and fine-tuned without any additional cost. So these are some of the 5 ways in which you can actually begin to explore ChatGPT in your personal business, in writing, in your website, and in other areas. ChatGPT or GPT has no limit. Thank you for joining us on this channel. If this has been useful to you, share, like, and continue to be part of our podcast. And I will see you in the next episode. Welcome to Arise and Shine Monday. Welcome to Arise and Shine Monday. We are focused on this podcast to assist you on tips, tools that can help you take your business to the next level. In this series on Arise and Shine, we are dedicated to helping entrepreneurs, small business owners to achieve success in your business. So we would cover a range of topics, from identifying your niche and building a strong brand, to networking, to marketing, to sales, finances, team management, amongst many other interesting topics. The goal here is to provide practical, underline the word practical, and actionable advice that you can implement to take your business to the next level and thrive. You are welcome to it. You are welcome to it. You are welcome to it. If you are joining us on Clubhouse, you are welcome to come and share with us even as we carry on this episode. You are welcome to it. Episode 1 of this series, today we are focused on identifying your niche. Identifying your niche. If you have some ideas, if you are serving a specific niche, if you have some questions about identifying your niche, drop them in the chat. If you have any questions you want us to discuss about identifying your niche, get them into the chat. Let's get the conversation going on. Share the podcast on the runway on Clubhouse. Share them on other social media platforms. Get people in here. Let's look at how we arise and shine in 2023 and beyond. So how do we identify our niche? So the first question is, what is your niche? What is your niche? Your niche, put simple, is a specific area of expertise, a specific area that you are an expert in, that sets you apart from competition. It sets you apart from competition. That's what makes you unique, and it allows you to stand out in a crowded market. So in this episode, we are going to be discussing the importance of identifying your niche, how it can help your business to grow and thrive so you can arise and shine in 2023 and beyond, and take your business to the levels where you want it to be. So we will explore firstly the different types of niches, such as demographic niches, geographic niches, psychographic niches, amongst other types of niches. We'll also be able to talk about how do you conduct a market research that can help you identify your niche and your target audience. So the next thing we want to do is to discuss the importance of being specific and focusing on a small target market. So it seems kind of counterintuitive to narrow your focus, but you would begin to see how this can help you to attract more customers and increase your sales. So we would then conclude this episode by actually looking at certain tips that can actually help you to position your business within your niche and communicate your unique value proposition to potential customers. So let's get some likes, let's get some shares, let's get the conversation going. If you have questions, comments, put them in the chat. Let's look at how to arise and shine by identifying your niche. With me, Dr. Vivian Atut. I am an economist, I'm an entrepreneur. My background is in economics and business management, and over the years, I started my entrepreneurial journey back in 2012 when I resigned from full-time role as an economist. And from then, I have been able to build and sustain businesses from research to manufacturing to coaching and other things that I am able to do. So despite the fact that I have a business management and economics degree or studied up to PhD, what we are discussing in this series is not theory. We are not discussing the background. Theory is great, but we are learning from our experience, talking and sharing the things that we have actually practiced or implemented in our businesses that have actually helped us to be able to thrive and to take our businesses to the next level. So like I said, the first thing you want to ask if you want to really arise and thrive in your business in this year 2023 and beyond is, what niche, what market am I serving, and why is it important for me to identify, to know, and to grow this? So you need to be able to understand the specific customers that you focus on. And why is it important? Because this will help you to stand out of the crowd in the marketplace. It makes it easier to create products and services that meet specific needs and wants of your target audience. So when you identify your niche, you can also become more effective in the market and reach these customers better. So let me give you an example. One of my businesses is actually manufacturing and distribution of feminine hygiene products, and basically with the word feminine hygiene, it already begins to tell you that my market is narrowed down to the female gender. And when we look at feminine hygiene, your sanitary pads and other kinds of products, then you begin to look at the age group of females that are able to use this, and you can actually go ahead and begin to make sure that you focus on these specific niche. So one of the questions that might be on your mind right now is, wait a minute, Vivian, how do I identify my niche? How do I identify? There's so many women in the world. If I were in the feminine hygiene, how do I narrow it down? So let's begin to look at a few key steps that you can actually use to identify your niche. The first is to think about your passion, your strength, your expertise, what you are good to do or you are good at doing and enjoy doing. For example, if you're a fitness coach and you want to train people, you need to be able to identify a specific group that you want to train. You might want to focus on creating products that are targeted to specific audience. Maybe they are older, recovering from injury. So one of the things that you want to look at, the market, you want to see what areas are underserved. So irrespective of the fact, I gave you the example of my sanitary pad business, and one of the things I did when I was looking at that market was how could we get specifically in Africa quality sanitary pads to underserved markets, schoolgirls at affordable prices. So one of the things was quality. The next thing was underserved market. The next thing was how do we look at these to become more affordable for this market. So market research will begin to give you some of the needs of the market, some of the issues, whether they have issues of pricing and other things that can actually help you to identify these. So if you notice that there are a few or there are many young girls who would have loved to use sanitary pads, but they are not able to use it because price is prohibitive, then if you want to enter that market, you begin to see, how do I serve this underserved market with products that are within their price range but makes business sense to me? If you get actually what I am talking about. So one of the things in your niche is first your capabilities, second the market, the gap that is in the market, second and thirdly is how do you fit? What is the unique perspective, your approach to doing this? For example, in the sanitary pads, one of the things that I then decided to do was, how do we look at the kind of material that we would now use, biodegradable when it comes to our pads, so that you can throw it in the landfills or wherever, and it will not cause environmental harm. So first, I've identified my capability in this. Second, I've identified the underserved market. Third, I've identified both pricing and quality, some key points that can actually separate my product from others that are in the market, and that applies to others. Let me say you wanted to open a cuisine or a kitchen, you're a chef, maybe you want to become a vegan chef, you could start vegan meals delivery service. You want to focus on providing healthy and delicious and plant-based meals for busy individuals, and maybe some takeaway and other things. So you begin to segment based on your passion, your capability, your strength, the target people, and maybe it's based on their lifestyle, maybe it's based on a physical location. Busy professionals in New York City, for example, busy professionals in Maryland, in Texas, in Johannesburg, in any part of the world. So that is a geographic niche. It could be a global niche. For example, if you are in an online program and you are training people across the globe and you have digital products, it could be a niche of young people, older people, in a particular area or particular industry across the globe, and you know that you are meeting them with this kind of service or product globally, and you meet them globally. So another important thing that you need to consider when you are selecting your niche, and people have been asking me, is what are some of the common mistakes to identify? Common mistakes when selecting your niche. So one of the common mistakes is trying to be everything to everyone. I repeat, never try to be everything to everyone. It is so important to have a specific target market in mind and not try to appeal to too broad to an audience that you don't even know, especially when you are just starting out. For instance, if you try to cater for everyone with a general meal delivery service, it will be hard to stand out and attract customers. So you want to say, oh, I want busy professionals, I want to serve graduate students, I want to serve let me say in my example of the sanitary pads business, I want to serve on the privileged girls with high quality sanitary pads. So be as specific as possible. The more specific you are, the better you can actually deepen your reach in that market, stand out and be attractive to customers. Another mistake that you want to avoid is considering the profitability of the niche. So you can be passionate about something, but it is not profitable. Think about it. You want to start a video rental business in this day when Netflix and others have moved the industry to digital and all that. So you go and open a video town or a video rental service somewhere. You can be sure that the business is already dying. It's a dying industry because technology and everything else has already put it out of business. So irrespective of your passion to have a beautiful video town rental outlet and sit there and people come and pick up and rent movies that they like and all that, you can be sure you would not make money in that kind of an industry. So you might have the passion, but this kind of business would not be profitable. So or in other industries, the market is already saturated and it might be difficult, except you bring in certain level of innovation. You can't be profitable in that. So the best thing for you to do in that instance would be for you to be deliberate, to kind of do your market research, do your proper research, so that you narrow down and consider the profitability of the segment before you begin to venture into it. If you have questions, comments, put it in the chat. If there are specific things about identifying niche, specific issues you have faced in the past when looking at your niche, please share. Let's get the conversation going. Or if there are things you've done, how you've identified your niche, share in the description. If you also before we begin to look at other aspects of identifying your niche, I want you to begin to check the links in the description, be able to check our bios and other things. If you want specific help, you want to book a 30-minute free discovery call with myself to help you arise and shine in your business, please back channel me on Clubhouse, send me a DM on Instagram, and let's get the conversation going and see how we all position our businesses for success in 2023 and beyond. So finally for today's episode, looking at Arise and Shine, taking your business to the next level. This episode focuses on identifying your niche. So the next thing you need to do in your niche, once you want to build a successful business, you need to be able to make sure that you stand out, you serve your niche. Once you have been able to identify, we spoke about you need to know your expertise, you need to understand your strengths, your experiences. You need to be able to identify your niche either by geography, by psychology, by location. You need to be able to identify this niche. You need to be able to get your product, your capability fit with the niche. You need to be able to look at your uniqueness. You need to be able to avoid common mistakes that people make when identifying niches. For example, trying to serve everyone. For example, not looking at the profitability of a specific market. And finally, you need to serve. Once you identify your niche, you need to serve. Thank you again for joining us on this episode. Today, looking at Arise and Shine. It's been a pleasure being with you. I hope this has been useful. Share episodes if you are joining us on our podcast channel. Continue to share and continue to be part of our community. Until next time, be good.